Meredith Gorman here, and are you still not subscribed to Matt's channel? Well, if you're not, hit the subscribe button because he's giving out free picks each and every week. Hope you have a good rest of your day.
NFL Week 7 is here, guys. I'll be looking at 3 matchups like I always do, including the Monday Nighter. Big games, a couple big games to look at this week. Less teams are playing, less games as well, just because buys, right? Buys started last week, so they will continue for the rest of the year. I'll provide my leans, anything I like in the breakdowns. I will let you guys know. Of course, Underdog and the teaser option and segment as well. Week 6 update. We finally lost an outright underdog, guys. We did start 5-0 in that underdog outright market. We had the Panthers, and it was close. They lost in overtime. And I watched some of that game. I didn't watch a ton of it, but I did watch some of it. And Carolina was just dropping the ball. They were dropping the ball a ton. Darnold didn't play great, but he didn't play bad. The team didn't help him out. Defense, they played okay. Best they can do. Minnesota has a good offense. We just know that Carolina can score, and we know teams can score on Minnesota. So it made sense at home. I still like the play. They lost in OT, and you can't predict how bad, wide receivers and the offense is going to play. They had plenty of chances to win that game. They were just making mistakes. So we're going to try to get back on track. And then there's going to be obviously in an underdog outright market, you're taking plus money in every game underdog. And there's going to be some regression, so I do expect some regression after starting 5-0. Nice win with the money line parlay. We did hit the money line parlay. Hope you guys tailed that. Steelers and KC got that at minus 110. KC and Steelers on the money line. Up and down week personally for my personal plays. A few upsets caught me. I had Denver. And I had the Bills as well. Bills. Those were in money line parlays. I did not have them in the spread. I did have Denver on the spread in a contest. But yeah, that definitely was an upset. Raiders with all the drama. A lot of people were on the Denver side, I'm sure, and they didn't show up at home. Denver, we're kind of seeing their true colors now, right? They won those early games mainly. They looked good in those early games, but it was the competition, and it is showing up now. They are playing... Well, this will come out tomorrow. So we'll see if they show up against Cleveland. But, yeah, they're playing Cleveland on Thursday Night Football. Bills was a surprise, right? They could have won the game. They probably should have won the game, the Bills, right? They were 4th and 1 on the 1-yard line. I thought Allen ran for that first down. They didn't give him the first down. It was close, guys. Bills... also the Henry run. Henry had a run there, 75-yard touchdown, clear hold they didn't call. So little things like that. Big win for the Titans. I'm happy. I have some Titans futures. I have Titans to win the division. I have Titans to make the playoffs. So I'm happy there because that usually, if you look at the beginning of the season, you looked at the schedule, you would check Bills to win that game. So good for my future market at least. Let's look at the update here. Let's look at the update on the season. So we're 5-1 in the Underdogs. This is a free play market for you guys on my videos. 5-1 plus money Underdogs. 4-2 in the teaser and money line parlay. 64% spreads and totals for me, personal plays for clients, and we're 6-unit profit on the season. PGA profitable week in the prop market, and just missed out on another outright winner with Morikawa. He finished second, guys. And if McIlroy didn't have some crazy week with some crazy shots, Morikawa would have won that tournament. 4 outrights last 8 events, which is outstanding. I do expect some regression in the market, and we're seeing a little bit of it now. However, we're getting close to keeping that number incredibly high. Best bet winner. Very high percentage, keeping it over 2-year span, guys. 69% 2-year span in best bets. Long-term winning here, no matter the sport. UFC, another profitable card in the UFC. going 2-1. Should have been 3-0. We got robbed on a decision prop. 3 blind judges were at it again. 35-9 client run right now. 80%, guys. 35-9 client run, all fights. And that's a few months now. That's a few months with that much volume. 65% best bets, 2 years. Again, long term, and just under 50 units on all plays. NBA, NHL, low volume. Starting to have a few plays going. We hit the Knicks on the first NBA play of the season. It did take overtime to get it, but they did get it. It's not going to be my primary focus right now, NHL and NBA. I look every day at it, of course. Look at the lines. Do my research. See if I can find some mistakes from the book. So when I do, I put that play out for my clients, and it's a personal play, right? So that's another thing you get with my packages. You will get NBA, you will get NHL, you'll get PGA. I don't do videos or free plays for those. Remember, systemsportscapping.com for my personal plays. If you want to become a client, all my updated records are there as well. Videos from YouTube and free plays as well. Let's get right into it, guys. Let's get right into it. I'll be looking at the Chiefs at Tennessee. I'll be looking at the Bengals at Ravens. Big divisional game there for first place in the AFC North. And the Monday nighter, Saints at Seahawks. Remember, shop around. Lines are moving. Lines are moving. This is Thursday afternoon lines. Thursday afternoon lines. Chiefs minus 5.5 at Titans. Total 57.5. I've seen some 5s out there on the Chiefs as well. So definitely shop around for that. And a super high total in this one. You know, I can see it. I understand why it's such a high total. I wouldn't be surprised if it gets there, guys. Scary number at 5.5. I mentioned it before in videos. 5.5 is kind of like they don't know what to do with the spread, so they kind of put it in that 5.5 middle. Titans are coming off that big win, right? Huge win at home against Buffalo. Could this be a letdown spot? They did get banged up in that game. A lot of injuries on the Tennessee side. Again, Julio Jones went down. So watch the injury report. You got to watch that Friday injury report. A bunch of corners went down as well. Now, like I mentioned, I think Buffalo should have won that game, but either way, Tennessee was in that game, right? Buffalo was arguably one of the best teams in the NFL going into Tennessee there, and Tennessee was up and down, right? They were up and down, 3-2, still winning record, a decent team, good team. It's just, I think we maybe expect a little better from them going into this and how they looked last year as well, right? Either way, Tennessee's played well enough to win that game. Like I mentioned last week, they've played fairly well. They beat out on the teams. They had a bad loss against the Jets, right? That was a tough loss, but it seemed to play pretty well at home. KC last week were trailing in the second half, but then pulled away big in the fourth quarter against the Washington team. And they were able to put up 30 again. And that's what I expect here. The over team total of 31 will be my free play in this game on the Chiefs. I think there should be a ton of points here. Will Tannehill be able to keep up with Mahomes? Is Chiefs going to finally get a good, some good play from the defense? It's just both these teams have terrible defense, right? Points per game, these teams can score, right? KC averaging just over 30 points per game. Tennessee almost 28 points per game. So you understand the line here. And then if you look at the defenses, both teams are in the top 10, top 5 in points allowed, right? So it makes sense here. Both teams can score. Both teams let up points. I could not look any way. Like, imagine betting the under in this. It's over or nothing. You just couldn't bet the under in this. But yeah, I'm going to be on that Chiefs team total over 30.5. This Titans defense is terrible, and it's even more banged up. It got banged up against the Bills. They lost a few corners. And I think also linebacker got hurt as well. So watch it, right? Friday, watch the injury report. Usually the Friday injury report is the injury report you want to watch. If player's not playing Friday, he will most likely not suit up. And this is some veteran. Sometimes they allow veterans some time, right? So obviously they're going to want to try to slow it down, Tennessee, with Henry. Try to slow it down, keep Mahomes off the field. I just think Chiefs are just going to outscore them in this game, guys. Chiefs get the win. Don't love the 5.5, but I like KC to get the win here and that over in team total. Bengals +6, +6.5. Shop around at Ravens. Total 47. Total 47 here. Here come the Bengals. This isn't the bottom of the AFC Bengals anymore, or bottom of the AFC North type team anymore, guys. They got their QB now with Burrow. They got some wide receivers help, obviously with Chase Burrow. Very, very dangerous duo. They are used from the LSU, right? They're used to each other, so that helps, and it is carrying over in the NFL. They have some other help at wide receiver as well. Obviously, Mixon at running back. They do need him to stay healthy. I think their D's improving as well. D looks pretty solid. They made changes, and this team has got a lot better. Now I look at who they faced, of course, right? When you start seeing records like 4-2 Bengals, why are they 4-2? So this is how I look at it. Is it a fraud 4-2, like the Denver 3-0? That's what you have to look at here. And let's take a look at who they lost to and who they won against, right? So Lions, Jags, Vikings, and Steelers. And Atlanta, right? And Atlanta. So Lions and Jags, not impressive wins. Vikings and Steelers, I put that in there. I can see Steelers, they weren't playing well at that point. They had a lot of injuries, so that's something to take a look at. And then Vikings, I think Vikings missed a field goal there. But either way, they're two solid wins. The Packers as well. That was a very impressive game. They played well. They lost in overtime, but a lot of kicking issues in that one. They played well, and Packers are one of the best teams in the league. They brought them to overtime. So I think this Bengals team has improved a lot, and I don't think the 4-2 is a fraud. I don't think it's a fraud. Yes, they beat up on some bad teams. This is going to be their big test against my Ravens. We've seen how Ravens looked last week. Very impressive win for the Ravens last week over the Chargers. They smashed them. I didn't, even being a Ravens fan, I don't really bet on my team. I did not see them destroying the Chargers. I thought Chargers would put up. I thought Ravens would win the game, with Chargers having a chance to win the game at plus money. But I thought they would hang around and cover the 3.5 Chargers. I didn't bet it, but if I had to, I would have looked that way with the Chargers. And Ravens just put a beating on them. They put a beating on them. And, it was just hard for me to see the Ravens starting 5-1 with all the injuries. Just a ton of injuries. And it's not just like a depth injury standpoint. It's top guys. It's the top of the, it's one of their best corners. It's their starting running back. It's their backup running back. It's their best O-line now with Stanley. It just continued and continued and continued. And they're showing why this team is rated so good and how they're so well coached. And it's just a standout organization. And when you have, a crazy good coaching staff like they do, and when they have a front office like they do, they can find guys, bring in guys to help this team like they do with the running backs, for example, some O-line help as well. It just tells you how, it just explains and shows this Ravens team on how well they're built. That's what it does. And it starts in the draft. It starts from the front office. And it just shows you, with all these injuries, they're still 5-1. It's impressive. I didn't see it, guys. I didn't see it. I thought they would struggle with all these injuries. Lamar Jackson has taken over this team, and he's just putting them on their back pretty much. And last week, the defense showed up and played very well against a Chargers team that's been outstanding, right, to say the least. They were going 4-1. That was a battle for AFC top. And they just absolutely destroyed the Chargers. With that being said, this is a divisional game. In a divisional game, you're giving me plus 6.5. I'm going to have to take it. I'm going to have to take it with the Bengals. Have I bet it as of yet? No. Will I bet it? Possibly. But I just don't like betting against my Ravens team. But if you ask me to play a pick here, if you say pick a side, Matt, gun to the head, it's going to be Bengals plus 6.5. Just because, like I mentioned, this is a new Bengals team. Ravens, I think, just because they smashed the Chargers last week, they're getting a little higher valued. But yeah, Ravens win this game. I do think they win the game, but I think Bengals hang around a bit. 6.5 is high for a divisional game, and the total 47, tough to call. I lean the over, but it's a tough total to call here. Should be a fun one, guys. Should be a fun one for the battle of the AFC North leader. Keep that in mind. AFC North leader. Monday Nighter Saints minus 4.5 versus Seattle Seahawks. Total 43. This would have been a lot better Monday Nighter if Russell Wilson was playing. Unfortunately, Wilson is not. This Seattle team actually looked decent against Pittsburgh. Seattle almost won that game against Pittsburgh. And it was a better game than I expected out of Seattle and Geno Smith. Geno's doing okay. He's doing what he can. Obviously, you can't replace Wilson. But he's done a decent job so far. Saints have been up and down and very tough to predict. Let's just look at their games so far and tell me if you want to lay money and put money on this Saints team. Smash the Packers game 1. I don't really look at week 1, so let's not really count on that. And it was in Jacksonville. A lot of things were going on in that game. Week after that, they get blown out by the Panthers. Okay, win over Patriots the next week. And then they lose to the Giants, and then then they beat Washington. Win one, lose one. Win one, lose one. Right? It's hard to predict this Saints team, and then they're coming off the bye, so they may have cleaned some stuff up. I hate betting against teams coming off a bye. This team's just very hard to predict from week to week. I expect them to pull off a win here. Yes, I do, just because Seattle's troubles. And I think the bye week does help, but I can't lay 4.5 on the road. So it would be Seattle plus the points. That's the only way I can look. But I just think the defense on the Saints show up and they get it done here. But yeah, it would have to be Seattle plus the points at home. Total, tough to call. I have no really comment on the total. Lean the over. But I can't get there on the total. Teaser moneyline parlay. Teaser moneyline parlay. Last week we hit on a money line. So let's do another 2-team money line. We're going to do the Pats at home against the Jets. New England's due for a win, man. They've been playing tough teams, almost beating teams at home, almost beat the Bucs at home. Almost Dallas, they are hanging around. They brought them overtime, couldn't beat them. They handle the Jets here. I don't care if Jets coming off a bye, it's the Jets. And Chiefs. Let's take the Chiefs here just to get the win on the road in Tennessee. Underdog of the week, the famous segment. Let's see if we can continue this nice run, 5-1. Obviously, the loss last week, and like I mentioned, there will be some regression in the underdog outright market when you're betting underdogs only here. I like a few here. Dolphins at home is an option. However, I stayed away from it just because that London trip, they didn't get a break. This is the first time a team didn't get a bye after that London trip. That scares me. Ridley's back for Atlanta. So I'm staying off of Miami. They've looked terrible and they lost to the Jags. Colts could sneak out a win on the road. However, I'm getting some injury concerns here. I'm getting some notes and I'm getting some inside information of how banged up Colts are getting. They had some more injuries last week. Blackman, their safety's out. Very important for their team. Jimmy G's back. I think San Fran wins at home, guys. I think they get it done with that defense. It's going to be Philly, guys. We are going to go to Philly. It's the background of the underdogs. Let's get them on the board. Let's get it. Let's get the graphic correct here. The underdogs. Yes, the Philadelphia Eagles. I like most of them. Like I mentioned, these three, I like this the best out of the three. Here's what we need to do from the Eagles. We need Hurts to play really well, of course, and we need to see Saunders be able to run the ball a bit. They got to slow down Carr. They got to be able to get to him. I think Lance Johnson is coming back, which is going to help them a lot. I think they have some weapons on this team, and I don't think the Raiders can stop them. So I think it's going to be a high-scoring game as well. And I think, I'm going to be on the plus money. I got it plus 3, and you can get plus 125, plus 130 on the outright. I think that's maybe the best chance this week for Philly to get a win. And you can get it at plus 130. that will do it, guys. That will do it for week 7, NFL week 7. Always hit that subscribe button. It helps me out. Comment as well, guys. That helps me out as well. Trying to grow the channel. Share with a friend. You know, if you know friends that gamble, let them check this out. Hopefully they'll like it as well. Like I always say, guys, bet smart and know your limits. Take care.